With Chainsaw Man chapter 184, the story picks up a little after Denji declared in the last chapter that he had some big brain idea on how to escape from the dimension the aging devil has them trapped. And as you would expect with Denji, the plan he has, it likely has to be something so simple that is brilliant. However, the problem is that we don't actually learn in detail what the plan is in this chapter, because Denji is putting everything into place as the chapter's going on, which means this is either going to be an unorthodox success or it's going to be a colossal failure on Denji's part. There's not going to be any in between here. We open up the chapter with Denji being shown running around in circles while Mitaka watches by in confusion, and she even asks Yoru if she has an idea of what Denji's trying to do. Yoru comes to the conclusion that Denji's probably cracked like all the others and he's just running around in circles around the area for no apparent reason because he's gone crazy. However, we see that Denji, he's working up a big sweat, which is done with so much emphasis that it's the story trying to make you wonder, is Denji purposely trying to work himself so hard that he develops an appetite, since he is still connected to Pochita's body in the real world, and we know to a degree the powers of Chainsaw Man, they still are connected right now. This behavior by Denji leads to the aging devil attempting to ask Denji and speak to him to figure out what it is he's trying to do, which shows that it isn't just Yoru and Mitaka who are getting confused about what's going on here. So too is the primal devil that is holding them captive. However, Denji does not break here at all and stays focused on his current goal of running around in circles. Taking the silent treatment is enough to finally get the aging devil to disclose more of his plan to Denji, and when dealing with a devil this powerful and most importantly this dangerous, the more information that you have, the better off you are. The aging devil reveals that Denji's heart, it is still connected to the main body of Chainsaw Man, and it wants to have Denji eat her. This leads to the aging devil revealing what we as the audience know about the children whose lives hang in the balance, making it known to Denji that if he eats her, he'll be killing countless children, but he'd also be able to escape from this area that they're in. It's a great example of human nature on display here. When a person is tasked with choosing the lives of their own over the lives of others, it's asking the question if their own personal well-being is something they value more. Will they choose the moral option or will they choose a survival option? For example, if the aging devil asked Yoru that same question and Yoru had the ability to eat the aging devil to escape, she wouldn't even hesitate and she'd ask the aging devil, do you have some butter? You got a knife? You got a fork? And she'd get to eating. However, Denji quite literally does not bite here. He calls her out on being evil, saying that Chainsaw Man is a hero and that this would never be something that ever gets considered, going so far as to say that Pochita wouldn't do that if Pochita knew the cost of eating the aging devil, which leads to the aging devil switching to an attack method that by now should be something that Denji is a professional at dealing with, which is the art of gaslighting, and boy does she go all the way into it. She breaks the glass in case of emergency and presses the Nayuta button, telling Denji that she finds it odd that he moved on so quickly after she died and he couldn't have cared for her because of how quickly he moved on. Yet this is where Fujimoto once again shows that after all the trials and tribulations he's gone through in part 2, Denji has indeed grown. In short, he finally gets it. Denji says that the aging devil doesn't understand the bond that he has with Nayuta, revealing that even though she's gone, it's not the end of the world. At some point, he'll find family somewhere else. This is such a beautiful moment because it shows those memories in the last chapter triggered the truth for Denji. Friends and lovers, they come and go in your life. So too do family members. In the case of Nayuta, they go visit that creepy friend that we're all scared to visit, that friend named Death, when we least expect them to go, when we least want them to go. But it's not the end. While we are here, life still moves on, even when we don't, and Denji finally gets that, and he also gets that family isn't just blood. Family is also the people who we connect with on a deeper level, and as long as we acknowledge that, accept that, and embrace that reality, we aren't ever truly alone, because we'll always have family, even if it isn't the one that we're born into. However, in typical Denji fashion, just as he shows some growth, we have to slip back into the comedic aspect of the trope of the goofy idiot main character, where he is now ridden getting under the skin of the aging devil. Denji does this by stating that the aging devil wants anything to do with his heart. If it's something that it wants, then it needs to do so by giving him a family again. again, and this makes the aging devil even more frustrated because it realizes Denji can't truly be reasoned with, despite her belief that the human Chainsaw Man, i.e. Denji, would be capable of being reasoned with. But she sees Denji as just a doofus, or rather that's the conclusion she's come to. Whether or not that is the correct assumption will depend on if Denji's plan works, and this is where the aging devil starts to realize maybe Denji is up to something. Asking if Denji thinks that he can just run his way out of here, it shows a complete disregard that Denji could have ever thought of a real way out of captivity. But Denji just smiles, that smug smile of his, and makes it known that his plan is already in motion to escape. The irony in this situation, in this entire situation, is that the aging devil is completely underestimating Denji so badly that it's criminal. In short, the way that his mind works is so simple-minded that it makes him a genius. That is why Kishibe told Denji in part 1 to never die, because out of all the devil hunters he's ever met up until this point, Denji is the one who's best suited for the job. He has that it factor, that quality that cannot be taught, and it makes him just as unpredictable enough that the aging devil should be concerned, especially when you factor in this next point. Denji's actions here, they are more than just him coming to accept all of his grief and trauma, but they are also the embodiment of the human experience itself, which makes them even more dangerous. Human beings, they will do whatever it takes to survive, to find happiness, and to overcome the obstacles that life throws at them. However, it's because he suffered so much that he won't allow those kids to die in order to escape, not if he can help it. When you lose loved ones, you feel sorrow. It hurts for a time, but you come out on the other end with a better appreciation for those who remain in your life, those who have yet to enter your life, and you find reasons to be happy and to live. You find meaning into suffering, because to live is to suffer, but to survive, that is to find meaning into the suffering. And for most people, that meaning, it is family, blood forged or created through bonds. This makes the ending of part 1 hit harder. Denji has carried weight for all these years. The weight of his father's death, which Makima she tried to exploit in part 1. The death of Aki and Power, which was in the background all throughout part 2, was something that he had never truly dealt with. Yet by trapping him here and forcing him to confront those things, especially in the last chapter, all the suffering he's had to endure, Denji is being ridden with a smile on his face as he's running, brim-filled with hope, which means that ironically the aging devil, in the attempt to break Denji, actually made him stronger. But because devils don't truly understand what it means for a person to be human, she just looks at it as a meaningless action. Yet his actions here, they have all the meaning in the world. She just can't appreciate how something as simple as running and talking about how he can make his own family in the future is so meaningful for Denji's character. Not in the way that we as fans of Chainsaw Man who have been on Denji's journey know how much this means to him and know how much he's grown. Well, that's going to be it for this Chainsaw Man chapter. We'll have more Chainsaw Man content coming on the channel later on, but while you wait for next week's chapter, feel free to check out these other videos from Anime Explained.